Welcome everyone. Hi. Thank you everyone for bearing the wet weather we're having to make it out here to Worth Gallery. My name is Adrian Hayles. Of course, welcome to Worth Gallery. We're here today to celebrate the works that have been created as a part of the Just Us movement art call that was created a couple of years ago, 3 years ago, by Street Art Toronto. A part of the call was selected by 7 nations as well as NIA, Center of the Arts. So what we're going to do is kind of go around to each one of the pieces. I will do that. You kind of stay in your position. If I can get you to shift over there, please. Thank you. And we're just going to individually go through and kind of tap on each one of the pieces that are part of this collection here that I've put together. The reason for the show, of course, again, is to really highlight the street art's notion of diversity, strength through diversity. So we're going to go through really slowly, kind of talk about why these pieces matter and why they were selected for the show and how they lead us into the future for other works of this nature. Okay, so the first one here is done by Leyland Adams. Leyland Adams has painted Nelson Mandela. You'll also notice that a lot of these pieces on the walls here are featured on the TTC trains as well as streetcars and buses. This was a part of an initiative that they put together a couple of years ago, again highlighting the Black History Month movement and their support of it. So back to Leyland's piece here. Yeah, he's really been doing a lot of work in the city. He's got 2 pieces in the show here, this one here as well as the Unity piece over here. They're both actually in the graffiti lane, so they're in a prominent part of the city where there's a lot of spray paint work that takes place. A big part of what Street Art Toronto does is really, they do these calls to prevent tagging and works that otherwise would not be invited by business owners as well as the community at large. And they wanted to really create pieces that highlight and speak to the communities at its core. Leyland himself is an artist of African descent. He's actually from Guyana. His father is from where I'm from. He used a lot of the plants here. These are the monasteries, which are from the south, from the Caribbean. And that's how he tied it into his own heritage. And of course, Nelson Mandela being the prominent feature, the character that he is, standing up for justice at a whole, was an easy choice for him. And he's beautifully depicted him, positioned here with a smile on his face and really prosperous and looking towards the future. Okay. You're welcome to ask any questions as I go along here. Pop your hands up. I don't want you to feel that you have to hold them off to the end, and I might not be able to get to them or you might forget them. So, okay. We'll go over to the next piece here. This piece here was actually done in Kensington Market. It's, if you know about Kensington Market, it's definitely an affluent part of our city. And it welcomes a lot of graffiti artists, spray paint artists. If you've ever gone through there, you'll see that it's really rich and very vibrant. This piece was done along the Baldwin Street, and you can see it's a lengthy piece. It was an all-women's movement, and so we really celebrate having this in the show to show the diversity and the power of art and how that really, can really do wonders for a community. This is a shot that's taken from a drone position above, because again, it's a ground piece. If anybody's ever done a ground piece, it's a bit of a tough piece to deal with, and you don't really get the full perspective of it unless you're falling from a building or flying on a plane or such. As in this case, you're getting a beautiful view of it from above. Okay.
Was this done by one artist?
Oh, good question. This was not done by one artist. This was done by a collection of artists that put it all together. And again, this was all the initiative that was put on by all women. I think it was Women's Works that put together this piece. Yeah.
Was there any backlash about doing it on the street? Like, how long did it last? Or were people complaining that there was that their cars were their tire? Or is it just could we do this and leave it on a regular basis? Something like this.
I can imagine it being. I've done one of my first major mural projects actually up at Oakwood and Vaughan. It was on an island, and the weather, the conditions, it's very seasonal. I mean, street art altogether is very ephemeral because it's out to the elements and anybody can do anything to it. It's not very well protected, and you kind of hopefully that the community respects it as such. But when you're doing ground pieces, it's really limited engagement because it just gets worn away. So you take
chalk?
No, but most of it's done with spray with paint. With paint, mostly with acrylics.
So did the city, like, because, I mean, was there any, like, issue about, it was a safety issue, and you couldn't see the lines, and, like, were there any issues in terms of, like, the city and painting the city?
You're more than welcome to answer, please.
Yeah, I'm happy to respond to that. So we work, I'm Carolyn Taylor, I'm with the City of Toronto Street Art Toronto initiative, and we're part of the Transportation Services Division at the City of Toronto. I'm here with Barbara Gray, who is the General Manager of Transportation Services, and our colleague Randy McLean. And so we follow protocol with this mural. There is a product that you do need to put onto the pavement after you create the mural. It's called sharp grip. There's specific types of primer that you need to use. And just to Adrian's point, the other thing I would say about road murals in Toronto, in Canada, are climate. The salt on the road, the snow on the road, and the snow plows are not friendly to road murals. This was specifically in response to Friends of Kensington Market had a vision to do a Black Women Lives Matter mural project. And they also were doing it in response to Black Lives Matter and the murder of George Floyd as well. And so it was very important to us as a special project to undertake this and support this work. It's also a great way to bring emerging artists into the Street Art Toronto career ladder for artists, which Adrian will probably talk about a little bit more.
Yes.
I would just add that it's we don't do this on low volume roads. So if you
Okay.
know artists
Right, yeah.
a little restricted
Right.
or whatever, because it does require that you
Like,
shut down
right,
the road. And
right.
if you know Kensington
There's
Market,
some, it does shut down.
yeah.
Yeah, there is pedestrian Sundays that take place there.
Right. Particularly appropriate to do it there.
This is actually the second mural that was done on this piece of roadway, I believe. Previously, it was done by a bunch of another collective artists. So, any other questions offhand? Oh, please.
I have one for this work here. Did he paint that QR code? Do you know if he
Oh,
painted that?
thank you for asking that about the QR code. Yes, he did paint the QR code on there. And again, this was put in there so that you can scan that QR code and learn more about the mural itself.
So it's functional?
It is a very functional QR code, yes. And you'll also, speaking in line with the QR codes, as we go along, you'll notice there's QR codes in all the labels. And this will lead you to the artist's Instagram page and learn more about them and see their bodies of works. Instagram is working really nicely now. It's almost like it's the current portfolio for artists.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it myself. So next on the docket, assuming that we've covered all the questions associated with the Baldwin piece in Kensington, good. So this here is a piece that I did, of course, a part of the Justice Call. This is just the year after I had actually been involved with the initial curating and selecting of the artists. So I got to throw my name into the ring, and I created this piece. This piece here was done with Clean Locks. Clean Locks is a black-owned business that's actually just at the corner over there at Bathurst, or sorry, not Bathurst, Bathurst and Dundas, correct? And it's a container. You'll see a few containers that are out there, and they're really cool because they're like incubator businesses for people to get their businesses off. And so this is a friend of mine, and she cleans locks. So it's only natural that I got on board and really tried to help her support her business. And this was a great initiative that piggybacked on it. And the way that we proposed the concept was the fact that black hair in itself, even being like in cornrows and style and being not really well represented in the fashion world, we wanted to really create a mural that is beautiful and really highlights the beauty of the hair itself. And that's what spawned and created this mural. And of course, TTC was really kind enough to have the mural stretched along this streetcar.
Who are your models?
Who my models were? I never really speak of my models, and that's complicated. I try to keep them as almost just like as figures, you know what I mean, without being so specific. They're nobody really specific. It's kind of funny because Leyland looks a lot like my character, so he really called me out when I. Where's my relatives? Anyhow.
How long were the murals like on the TTC? But are they still on?
No, it was only for a season. I can't remember how long it was actually up for. But it was a short stint, but it really made the rounds, and it did wonders for the individual artists as well as the program at large. Cool. So we're going to go over to this piece here by Leyland. This other piece also, it's actually right beside his Nelson Mandela piece. And it is, again, you'll notice the monastery plants. He's a real fan of those. So are we. You'll notice they're up by the window there at the gallery. They're fun plants to play with. They're also known as Swiss cheese plants because of the holes. But he wanted to recreate his own pattern, these are kente cloths, which are obviously of African descent. And he created his own pattern here and used the word unity, really to use the interweaving of the patterns to unify in itself, using as the palette.
Where is that one?
This one's also in Kensington. It's right beside, they're right beside each other actually. Oh, did I say Kensington? I'm sorry, correction. It's actually in Graffiti Alley. Thank you, yeah.
It's 147 George Street.
There you go, 147 George Street, for those who are interested and want to go check it out. There you have it. This piece here is by Phillip Saunders. It's just down the street actually, it's really close. This is his largest piece to date. And again, it's really showing the unification and really about celebration of Black love. It was great to see him doing it actually, as it was only done like last year as we were doing stuff here at the gallery. I passed by and see him working away. Beautiful works. Phillip Saunders is definitely developing a language of his own with his patterning and his color and style. Other questions? No? Awesome. Okay, we're going to slide over here. Thank you very kindly. So this is a piece done by Jazz 9. It's a female artist, a friend of ours here in the city. She's done quite a few pieces. I also really love the fact that it's black and white. It kind of really, the juxtaposition and the contrast really speaks to the call itself, in my opinion. And it was inspired by Jasma Kendrick, who is the featured person, the subject of the painting here. And as you can see in the wording, it kind of speaks to itself, the verbiage and how she really wants to look for inner beauty as the source to live outwards from. Okay. Thank you. So we're going to go over here to Jacquie Comrie. And this piece was up at Mount Sinai. I remember actually the initial call for this piece as a friend of mine was submitting for it, and I was going to be helping her as a mentor. I'm happy that Jacquie was able to receive this piece. You can see by her stylings and her pattern, it's really wild and really loose. I would definitely encourage you to scan her QR code, check out the rest of her body of works. I remember actually when I was working up in my neighborhood, it's Eglinton and Oakwood, she had done this amazing tapestry as a part of a hoarding project for Metrolinx as they were working at the Oakwood station. That was the first piece that I've seen of hers, and it was really cool because it was like African women with these dresses flailing, and she had this patterning style. It was kind of cubistic in its approach, where she's all about breaking up space. Big fan of hers, check out her work, and happy that she's actually in a part of this exhibit.
Is that part of the Monumental project? Or just
it was actually part of StreetARToronto's infrastructure and program.
Okay, cool. Yeah, no,
it's not 14 stories high.
Oh,
and so
I see.
murals have to be a minimum of 14
Yeah. No, it's a really big piece.
There's a little too much concrete on that street. It's pretty welcome.
Yes, indeed.
It hasn't been tagged or anything, obviously, right? It's not reachable.
No, it's not reachable.
Which is good. Which is really good. Okay.
I really want to the concepts. There was a lower section here that had something, but in hers, she's obviously just focused on the upper section of it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well done.
Is that done with aerosol or is it?
It looks like it's mainly done with brushes, and I say that only because of the edges of her pieces. There's not very much feathering or like gradients. So I would say I think that it's probably a brush project, or just acrylics. Okay. Right, so we're just going to slide over here. And we're going to talk about this piece by Elixir. This is over on the Danforth. I think it was part of the Destination Danforth project. It was not just Elixir that was on this. Sight was also involved with it. It did the letterworks. And as also Nick Sweetman was responsible for the character as well. I love this piece, and it was really inspired and really speaks to the Justice call itself. Obviously with the depiction, again I referenced the fact that it's all black and white. Is something that I really find, I don't know, something about it gives it an old-timey feel. Has that kind of like news, that news report feel, like it's just fresh print, fresh off the presses type of feel. It also ties in beautifully with there's a bunch of books back there for the Paint the City Black, which Jessey was monumental in putting together. But you can, we can talk about that a bit more later, but again, it's all really in line with this idea of social justice, and it's really social uplifting through artwork. Okay. This is Roel Solar. And this piece also is, this is at Gerrard, 744 Gerrard Street East. You see it's a really tall piece. He speaks about being a piece that's about unification and community love, and he's talking about the fact that this is kind of a representation of all the love and support that he received during the pandemic. Most of these pieces were done during the pandemic, so it was kind of desolate time for artists, to get out there and to express themselves, but the connectivity was really lost, it's easy to say, among our community and our friends and loved ones. So this piece, as he mentioned, really was about the unification of getting people back together. Okay. I'm not going to go too heavily into Jessey Pacho's piece here, but because we're going to get into it a bit more downstairs. Mel Hart will be joining us and giving a bit of we'll be showing a screening downstairs after we've completed kind of looking at this and appreciating it. But the long and the short of it, it's all about movement and in the moment. As I mentioned previously, the fact that a lot of these pieces were done during the pandemic, this piece really was about that idea of not having a sedentary lifestyle and actually being active and being up and about. What I loved about the fact that it had this movement component to it is because we represent street art, we do work, spray paint is a big part of it, and the true birthplace of all that is with graffiti, and graffiti, of course, you think of hip hop, and with hip hop you have the elements, and a big part of the elements is the dancing. So that part of the style, it kind of takes it back to its roots with this piece and the screening that we'll take on downstairs. Any questions offhand before we actually slide downstairs and take in the screening and hear from Mel and as she tells us about the process and the importance of her piece? No? Great. Awesome. Thank you so much again. Appreciate you. What I was going to say is that after we've done the screening, we're actually going to turn on all the lights here so you can actually appreciate the pieces that are down here. The pieces that are down here are not specifically a part of the Justice call, but they are, in line in the same vein, in the same energy of the call. So we've selected them to showcase them as potentials for future pieces. Okay. On that note, I give you Mel Hart.
Hi everyone, I just want to thank Adrian and Street Art Toronto for having me here to share my work. My name is Mel Hart and I'm a professional dance artist from Scarborough. I teach drop-in classes in Toronto and Mississauga, and any event space I'm happy to choreograph and create something in. So I am one half of SaMel, which is a contemporary dance duo, which uses dance to speak on issues like women empowerment, mental health, and identity. And I'm also part of a hip hop dance crew called Deuce and Dip. And we've been around for 10 years, performing on stages like Manifesto, Canada's Walk of Fame, We Day, but also mentoring the next generation of dancers with organizations like Just Be Graphic and Outside Looking In. And today I will be sharing with you an independent project that I proposed to Street Art Toronto for the Just Us call. And during the pandemic, as most of us felt very isolated, confined to our homes, lacking real connection with others, I wanted to push the envelope further with Jessey Pacho's mural, More Than a Moment, and use dance to support his work to raise awareness to fight against racism and the overarching goal of ending oppression in our own communities. I wanted to use dance to remind people of the power of our unity and how when we come together, we can learn, exchange, grow, and uplift one another and celebrate the beauty we all have within us. These values have been instilled in me from growing up in the culture of hip hop. And this culture of hip hop has also taught me to give credit to those who came before me and to give back to my community. And with those learnings, I wanted to create work that intentionally acknowledged and celebrated Black dance genres as they are oftentimes misrepresented and appropriated in mainstream media and even in spaces like dance studios here in the city. And I wanted to shine light on these dance genres because they have helped me find my voice, helped me find a family and a supportive community, and ultimately a career in dance. So I began searching for music that made me feel creative, joyful, and reminded me of my family. And so I landed on a song called Everybody Dance by Chic, which is a Black disco funk song from the 70s. The song allowed me to showcase a variety of dance styles like locking, salsa, hustle, contemporary jazz, house, all these dance styles that were born from legendary Black dance pioneers. I called up dancers that I admire, that I call my friends who share the same values that I do, and together we were able to represent our city with excellence, defy racism, and show that our movement is more than a moment. Please enjoy. To obviously Jessey Pacho for painting that amazing mural, and as well as my videographer in the corner, Christine Flores. So yeah, I feel really honored that we could make something like this happen, and I'm really passionate about finding new ways to create life and bring art into the community in a different way. So yeah, so if you have any questions, I can take questions now. I don't know, whatever comes to mind, I'm happy to answer. But if you just want to let it sit and take it in, that's totally cool as well.
Are you working on a specific project right now, or formulating concepts for proposals and things like that?
Yeah, we have a couple ideas in the works. I can't really speak on them just yet because we're waiting some approvals. But for SaMel Tanz, for my collective, we are going to be presenting our new work in the fall, November 2023, which will be presented at the Harbourfront Theatre Center. So,
Congratulations.
Thank you. So, yeah. Yeah.
So where can we see that again?
Where can you see that
Is it
again?
gonna be on YouTube? Like where can we just like watch it over and over again?
It is actually.
Once is not enough.
It is. I have a link. It is live through. You can find me, I guess, on Instagram or through my Vimeo account, which I guess you would have to type in SaMel Tanz. It's on the plethora of videos that we have there. But it's not hosted in a site per se.
Okay.
I actually don't. I didn't really at the moment, at the time, didn't really have a place to host it. I didn't have the right place to host it, so it's just kind of living in an archive right now. And then.
And on my Instagram.
Oh, and yeah. Oh, there you go. Yes, you can check it out there.
Well, the gallery is planning to, we've had a couple of artist talks similar to this, and so what we're going to do is actually archive them and maybe have the video added to it in terms of this one, so that you can follow up and check it out. Cool. I think we're in for
We're
it.
going to try something because we have a space, and I know that maybe not everyone's a dancer or a mover, but we wanted to try just a little bit of movement, you know, shake off the rain, feel a little bit good about yourself and your body, and you making it here. So we're just going to put on like a really chill song, and what we're going to do is we're just going to make a big circle. Love it. And if you just want to watch, you're totally welcome just to watch. But if you're, you know, brave enough to like shake a little leg with me, we thought we would give you the experience of feeling good and everybody dancing. Yeah, you can just put on the background. I thought I would share some of the movement that was in the piece so that you know next time you're at your next party or your wedding or I don't know, you can shake a little hip or something. So yeah, maybe just a little bit higher. Yeah. And you know the gallery space is always a place where we think we can be free and meet our bodies. So I thought, why not? So in hip hop and funk dance, there's like easy foundations. It's a bounce, a rock, a wave, a skate, and a hop. So I'm going to give you those today. And when you usually hear music, most people usually nod their head, and that in itself is a rock. So you're rocking and you're nodding your head, and then we start to bounce, and we kind of like bounce in our knees, a little two-step. Yes, see, really simple, just hanging out, having fun. And then if we wanted to add a rocking, we would lean back, and then our knees and lean back, into the back space, there you go. You wake up in the morning, you brush your teeth, you put on a good song, add these moves in. Now, just watch how much space you have, but we can keep it nice and small. We can just do a little slide, touch, slide, touch. Slide, touch, release on stage. Hey. And then we're gonna turn it around on the spot. We're just gonna turn. Hey. And then we can do a little wave if you want to get a little like, honestly crazy, but you know, enjoy yourself. You can wave. Hey. Hey. Ah, we all got something. About the music that you love, you're just gonna think, what can I add in? You got your bounce, you got your rock, you got your turn, and you got your skate. Hey! So I challenge you to be the spotlight dancer at the next party. Okay. Thank you so much for. So yes, if you want to find me or find out anything about my dance, you can find me on Instagram at Mel Hart without any one, Mel Hart 1, or you can follow SaMel Tanz, which is SaMelTanz. Thank you so much.
Well, thank everybody, of course, for making it out again and participating. This was a lot of fun. Please take the works that are downstairs, the works are upstairs. Again, scan all those QR codes and learn more about your favorite artists or their works that you see around here. What's this? And have a tamale, please. Have 2 tamales. Have 3 tamales. I dare you. Okay, thank you so much. Enjoy.
Jacquie, what's upstairs? Just the image.